Welcome to my channel. If you've been watching, you may already know that just about a month ago I did a substantial hike on the Shingle Mill pathway up in Pigeon River County in northeast Michigan. Um, when I hiked that trail, it was to kind of check out and see what the terrain was like for a much bigger backpacking trip called the High Country Pathway, which runs 80 miles through 4 counties and some of the most remote wilderness in the lower peninsula. This is elk country. It's actually home to the largest herd of elk east of the Mississippi River. All right, I'm rolling out at 9:40. Unfortunately, I had a little setback. My Hydra Pack had a little tiny pinhole in it, so I had to throw a little Flex Seal on it and just hope that it holds up. If it doesn't hold up, I've got a contractor bag and a waterproof ditty bag that I will put the bag inside of. And other than that, worst case scenario, I've got my Platypus Gravity. It's a 4-liter filtration system, and the clean water bag holds 2 liters, so I can always use that as a bladder as well. So I think that everything will be okay. Worst case scenario, it's just a pinhole, so it's leaking very slowly. I'll be able to stop and check on it. Hopefully it's not an issue. All right, I've arrived. It's 10 a.m., 59 degrees on a Monday. Beautiful drive out here. I think I hit it at the right time. I mean, not much to see around here, but the fall colors are pretty much hitting their peak right now. So anyways, how I plan on doing this. My first hike is going to be about 12.5 miles. I'm hiking to Pine Grove State Forest Campground, starting at the trailhead that's directly across from Pigeon Bridge State Forest Campground. Day 2, going to be 21 miles, hiking from Pigeon Bridge to Canada Creek Shelter. Day 3 is going to be an 18-mile hike from Canada Creek Shelter to Clear Lake State Campground. It's a state park campground. My stepfather's going to meet up with me there, and he's going to camp out for a night. And then from there, I have a 16-mile hike to Town Corner Campground, and then the next day I'll have my shortest hike, 10 miles back to Pigeon Bridge, right here where my car is. Well, as somewhat expected, there's not a single person at the campground. So I think that it's safe to assume I will also not see a single person on this trail today. Again, this campground is directly across from the parking area for the High Country Pathway. There is an alternative route to get onto the High Country Pathway, which is crossing the bridge over the Pigeon River. Before you see across the street is the parking lot there where I'm parked. But right before that bridge, there's an entryway onto the High Country Pathway. I am not taking that way. I'm hopping on the Shingle Mill pathway, and then once I get to the top of Shingle Mill, you kind of curve to the left by Grass Lake Overlook, and that's where you connect to High Country Pathway. Nice. There's just like bundles of firewood there. This does look like a pretty nice campground. And of course, it's got a little pump well, which is what I like to see at campgrounds. It makes life easier. And here we are. Shingle Mill Pathway, High Country Pathway. This is what I did last time I came out here, this whole little, lasso, which was about 12.5 miles-ish, 13 miles. But this, you just kind of come up here to connect to High Country. And there's a little earwig in there. See him crawling around. Well, off we go. I'm only a quarter of a mile in, but Man, this is already beautiful. I'm loving the moss-lined trail here. Also, pro tip, if your bear bell is not jingling enough on your backpack, yeah, there's your solution. Maybe ear sacks, knapsacks, and bear bells and bear spray and whistles and air horns are a bit overkill, but when you're out here alone in bear country, you can never be too safe. Whatever helps you sleep at night, right? This right here is why fall is a good time of year to do this trail. A lot of people talk about the trail being overgrown with ferns. Well, don't think I have to worry about that too much. These ferns are dead. Yeah, it sure is beautiful out here. You know, I thought I would need my puffy this morning. I thought for sure I was going to wake up to low 40s, but it was 61. Are you kidding me? Northern Michigan, almost a week into October. Okay. I'll take it though. I know it's going to cool off tonight, so hopefully I can get to camp early enough to scavenge up some wood that isn't too wet, hopefully, and get a little fire going. So unfortunately, despite checking the forecast 1,012 times, there wasn't supposed to be rain today. It is raining today. As you can see, I've got my pack cover on, my raincoat. Whatever, my feet are gonna get wet, I guess. That's all there is to it. But hopefully, my 20-mile day tomorrow is dry. Be nice to have at least a couple of dry days on this trip. Here we are at one of our first junctions, and I stay to the right. This will take me to the Pigeon River campground, not to be mistaken with the Pigeon Bridge campground. At Pigeon River, pretty nice looking campsite. They also have a pump well to re-up on water. There's a nice creek, or a river obviously, and they just finished, well, I'm not sure if it's completely finished, but you can definitely walk over it. They just put in a new bridge. And I know in a couple of the trip reports and videos that I've seen from years past on this trail, you know, all talked about that bridge being out. But yeah, there's a bridge there now, and you can pass safely over it. As you can see down here, there's the Pigeon River. The trail follows it, you know, here and there most of the way. Not the entire high country pathway, of course, just shingle mill. Once you get off onto high country, there are other streams and lakes that you come across. Oh, look at these guys. Yes. They look very like brainy, the color. Almost like they almost look kind of like shit, what are those Polish things that you dip in sour cream? Pierogies. They look like pink pierogies. You know, it's really hard to not stop and keep recording when every little bit looks like a painting to me. It's funny because in a lot of trail reports or trip reports, people say things like they were glad it was over, or they think that this trail is for people who just like backpacking for the sake of backpacking. But I don't know, I guess I see something that those people don't see. Maybe those people are just spoiled by the beautiful vistas of something more expansive, like the Continental Divide Trail or the Appalachian Trail or the scenery in the Southwest, but I can appreciate everything. I mean, I look at this scenery around me and I would not describe this as bland or nondescript. Like, every second has just been beautiful to me. So if you take the shingle mill pathway, starting off doing the high country pathway, at mile 2 1/4, you come to the Pigeon River County Welcome and Discovery Center. Here you can pick up a waterproof map of the high country pathway. You can learn about the elk range and a number of other things. Right now the center is closed, but I have no reason to stop in. I already have maps, and 2 1/4 miles you pass the Discovery Center, and then about another 2 miles you come across the Pigeon Bridge campground. So once I cross that bridge, I will be on my way to Pine Grove, and hopefully by taking this route rather than hopping directly onto the alternate high country pathway before the parking lot pull-off area, hopefully I'll bypass the bridge that's out. That's the hope. And just like that, I've already arrived at the Pigeon River campground. Again, not to be mistaken for Pigeon Bridge campground. I particularly like this site, and I would come back here just to do some glamping. You know, it's right along the river. The sites are pretty well spread out. They do allow RVs and campers here, but it's not like one of those big campsites where you have a billion RVs all parked right next to each other and generators going and screaming children. This is pretty secluded, pretty off the beaten path. We're looking empty today, which is great. And I think if I came here to camp out, this would be the site I would take right here, number 6. Literally right on the river. It's a great little spot. And just in case you're wondering, we're at mile 3.06. Big difference. Just up ahead on the right side, there's a vault toilet, and next to the vault toilet is an artisan well. Here's our little artisan well. She's constantly flowing if you need to rinse off or refill your water. Exactly 3 1/4 miles in, and I'm at the bridge. It is still not finished. Looks actually to be about the same as it was last time I came through here. I can't drive over it, but you can certainly walk over it. Beautiful scenery. Pigeon River. As for myself, the trail picks back up right here. Now, if you don't want to climb this steep hill, you can take the road down and it curves around and reconnects with the trail a little further up, but I prefer the scenic route, and I don't mind having a little elevation. And arrive to the top of the hill with another beautiful view. Sure, the camera doesn't do it justice, but it's quite vibrant. So here's our next intersection. After you come up that hill and follow the path, you'll cross one little single track dirt road. What I want to do is head towards 10 Mile, or AKA I'm at 6 right here. So we are right here, and I'm going to be heading towards 7, which is the beginning of the lasso. Once I get up to that lasso, I hang a left, and then follow up towards 11, and that's going to take me to the high country pathway. Now this is an illegal campsite, but I can't blame them. Beautiful spot, right on the water, and they're right off the trail though. All right, here is an important intersection for us. This is where it branches off into this lasso shape here, and you want to stay to the left. This is a beautiful spot. I'm at 5 miles. That's either Grass Lake or Section 4 Lake. You know, a funny thing, on the other side of that lake is the alternate high country pathway trail, and there's a grass lake overlook up on the top of the ridge, but the trees have gotten so overgrown since they put that bench up there that you can't see the lake at all. So that's another benefit of coming from this way, is you get a view of this lake, and boy, is it ever inviting. And look how, this is gonna suck going back up, guys. Look how beautiful. That water is crystal blue. I mean, you can just see right down to the bottom over there. I mean, that is some clean, fresh water. And if I wasn't on a mission, I feel like I would take all my clothes off and take a dip in there. But I want to get to Pine Grove as early as I can, in hopes that I can scavenge some wood to start a fire. But I will see you again at the next trail intersection. Alright, here's our next intersection, number 9, and I'm heading towards 10. This is where the trail kind of curves off, and we're going to go over a little bog bridge, and there's a real nice kind of marsh up ahead on the left. I got a really good picture here last time. Had a beautiful blue sky with big white poofy clouds. Today, I mean, you can kind of see the rain. You see it looks a little misty out there. Actually, it's marsh on both sides. I'm sure this is an area that could get pretty wet if it had been raining a lot. All right, next important overlook. I came from this way. If you were doing the Shingle Mill Pathway loop, you would go that way at this sign. But we're gonna go up. This leads to the Grass Lake overlook. I'm not gonna bother because I already know that there's no view of the lake anymore. So we're at marker 10, and we want to head up towards 11, which is up here. Right, and we've made it to marker 11. So we're right here, connecting with the high country pathway. And there's our sign. A little beaten up, it's seen better days, but you can bet your top dollar that used to say high country pathway. Just came out of here. So I'm just gonna pull up all trails real quick and see which way I'm supposed to go. I see another marker over there, but that seems counterintuitive unless I'm at this sharp curve on the map. Give it a second to update. Yeah, looks like this is the way I want to go. So once you come to this clearing, you'll want to hang to the left. and you'll see the other marker post. Oh, unfortunately, out here in this grass, my shoes are just getting sopping wet. I'm fearful that I will not be able to make a fire tonight because everything's so wet. I want to be able to dry my stuff off. So I just had a little bit of a scare. As I was walking along that 2-track, something right in the woods growled very loudly. I don't know what the fuck it was, but my heart's beating out of my chest and I'm a little on edge. I do not like that. Not one bit. I know we have bobcats, and I know that there are panthers up here, or cougars, or whatever you want to call them. There are big cats. Encounters with big cats are supposed to be incredibly rare. And as far as I'm aware, bears don't usually growl at you through the trees. But that was a really deep rumbling growl. Definitely not a coyote. You scratch that off the list. Don't think it was a dog, because it probably would have barked or showed itself. But nope, just a really freaking loud rumbling growl, which is not something that you want to hear when you're backpacking in the remote backcountry by yourself. I did not like that. All right, well, it's gonna make sleeping even easier tonight. Coming up to what looks like it's gonna be a nice view. Hopefully I don't pick up any ticks through here. Just because it's October does not mean I'm in the clear. Anything over 40 degrees, those things will come crawling back out. Oh yeah, looks like we're coming up to a nice view as I continue to push my way through the fern labyrinth. So this is what you can expect mile 10.5 to look like. It's kind of an open 2-track. I just found this laying on the ground. It says, this bridge was removed due to failing infrastructure. The Michigan Department of Natural Resources is currently looking at an alternative site that will be more sustainable and appropriate for the construction of a new bridge. Currently, the only option for crossing is to ford the river. Ford the river. Thank you for your patience and understanding. I'll set you. All right, looks like we're fording the river. Oh, the trail has looked like this for a little bit. It's gotten a little dense. There's a lot of very piney scented pines. And a lot of these very slippery single plank boardwalks. So be careful walking through here. They are slippery when wet. Yeah, it's like a 1/4 mile of these things. Jeez. So I'm thinking I'm about 1.5 miles from camp now. I'm excited to see how fording this river is going to go. I really wasn't kidding when I said this boardwalk stuff went on forever. It really does. And it really is quite slippery. I mean, honestly, I'm sure it gets nasty here, but it's really not even that wet. I would rather walk down on the ground than slip off of this shit. Sorry for all the swearing. I'm like a little on edge. Yeah, this looks like, no thank you land. Oh. There's a pile of berry scat. Looks like there's a little more right there. I do not like this at all, not one bit. Jesus. Why? This isn't fun. Oh shit, shit. Oh, oh. That was a woohoo. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yep, that's why I don't like that. It's like ice. God. Come on. Oh, here's some more scat. That's probably coyote scat. Looks a little bit like human turds with some fur in it. Oh, geez. Just taking this slow and easy. I'll catch you at the end of this. Man, if this isn't something straight out of Willy Wonka, I don't know what is. Like, this thing stretches on forever, and it's so slippery. Right after I turned the camera off, I slid straight off the damn thing. Scratched up my wrist a little bit, a little red. And it's like so high off the ground too, why? Oh, this thing is like decrepit. People mountain bike this? Jesus Christ. Yeah, what happened? I hear a stream. Oh, okay, good. We're leveling out. That's good. Looks a little drier here. Jesus. I did not like that. Yeah, we're just gonna take a detour. Screw that. I will pass. Oh, I think I see the river through the trees. It just goes on and on and on. All right, here's our stream. Oh, geez. Oh, yeah, this looks safe. Gosh. Good grief. I mean, I do like this sort of thing, but... I feel like this thing could just collapse on me any second. Oh gosh, that board it's all so decayed. All right. Well, there's the river. And the trail looks like it takes a detour this way, so the crossing must be coming up. Well, over another stream, very slowly and carefully. All right. Okay. Well, this river doesn't look too bad. Nope. Here we are. So the bridge was entirely removed. The only way across is to ford it. Shit. Oh yes, I forded the river. If you do this, it is about belly button high. Thankfully I have contractor bag. I had to carry the bag at my chest, which was heavy, but it tricks you. You get over here to the bank and it feels like you're coming up onto a sandy, solid base, and then bam, right here, you fall into a bunch of tree roots. Almost dropped my bag, almost dropped it, but I am filthy. I don't know how am I gonna rinse this off. I have like bark in my naughty bits. Like, I mean, it's like somebody dumped wet mulch all over me. But I made it across the river, and I'm like quarter mile from camp, so I guess I'll figure something out and dry off for a second and set up my tent. Well, I made it to camp. I actually just recorded this already, but I realized that somehow the GoPro went to camera picture taking mode. And yeah, this is definitely off the beaten path. As far as I know, there's only one way in and out of this campsite with a vehicle, and it's somewhere down this 2-track, because you certainly can't get there from coming this way. The bridge is completely removed. The only way to get over the river is to ford it, like I just did. And the only way to ford it is if you're at least 5'6", and you can carry your heavy bag over your head while being butt naked, and then trying to avoid falling into very soft, mushy ground underwater between a bunch of tree roots. This is a self-registration, so I'll be dumping some cash into an envelope, and I think I'm gonna unload everything, pop up my tent. I think I'm gonna stay at this site over here by the well, and yeah, I'm gonna probably head down this 2-track, cook dinner somewhere like a half mile away, and come back and just rest up. I was thinking about cooking here and then hiking another few miles. That way tomorrow's trek isn't 21 miles long. But yeah, after all that fun, you know, going over and around down trees and the half-mile long slick as ice boardwalk that was all Willy Wonka, and then having to get naked and ford through a river, yeah, I think I'm good just chilling. It is still sprinkling. It's been kind of misting all day, so the rain fly is going on. So I decided to pick this spot. I don't know, it just feels, I like it. It's a little more off in the open. That one's like kind of leaned up against the woods. I don't know, but check this out. Mother lode. Hell yeah. Who's having a fire tonight? Hopefully me. That's a godsend. That's amazing. So now that I've gotten comfortable and I'm all sprawled out here, I want to show you this real quick. Thank goodness the Flex Seal actually held up. There was just a tiny pinhole in here. I have no idea how that happened. I'm very careful about packing my bag. I always put the bladder in first. I don't have anything sharp or pointy in there. So yeah, no idea. But fortunately, no leaking. And I drank about half of the water today, so I'm going to refill it in this little well here and get some dinner cooking soon. Well, guys, I'm calling it a night. I will see you in the morning. So one of the bummers about backpacking in the fall is the days are obviously starting to get shorter. Sunset at 7:14 and doesn't rise back up until 7:40, which means I have at least an hour before there's even twilight, and I'm up. I'm ready to get the day started. I've got a long trek ahead of me, 21 miles to Canada Creek Shelter, and I really want to get there before it starts getting dark, so probably going to roll out of this tent in like 45 minutes or so and try and get a small fire going and pack everything mostly up, make some breakfast, and finish packing and hit the trail. Well, it's after 6 in the morning, if you can believe it. It is still pitch black, and there's like this, I don't know if you can see it through my headlamp, there's like just this fine mist coming down. Looks like freaking Silent Hill out here. But hopefully I start getting twilight within the next half hour or so, so I can start packing everything up and get breakfast cooking. I much prefer to have my coffee with a little bit of sunlight. Well, it's 5 minutes to 7. I really figured we would have had more light by now, but it's still pretty dark. like just barely starting to get twilight here, which sucks because I really wanted to hit the road before 8 if I could. Yeah, it doesn't look like that's going to happen. So I guess I'm just going to be hoofing it today without a lot of breaks. I'll probably do a little bit of recording, but not nearly as much as yesterday, just for the sake of getting to my next destination before dark, because I've got a lot of distance to cover. I was able to dry off all my clothes from yesterday, but with this mist coming down and the ground and pretty much everything being covered in dew and dampness, we'll see how packing up goes. Hopefully I won't have a wet inner backpack. I'm hoping to stay as dry as possible today, fingers crossed. Everyone's favorite bedside visitor. Hey guy, I gotta pack my tent up, so you might not wanna. Yeah, goodbye. Hopefully you didn't go in. Unfortunately, God, still can't see anything. The rainfly is absolutely just soaked. So thankfully I have a couple contractor bags. I'm just gonna have to throw it in one of those separate from the tent because I do not want to sleep damp. Well, the sun is finally starting to peak up a little. Got a little bit of twilight there. Fire lasted me the past hour and a half, so that's good. I retrieved all of my stuff, so it's just a matter of getting it all packed up and getting breakfast started and hitting the trail. Hopefully by 8 o'clock. See you on the trail. Alright, it's just after 8. I'm mostly packed up, and just gonna take a moment to have my oats and coffee. Fire is out, and yeah, seems like a misty day, so hopefully I'm not too wet when I get to my destination. Well, I ate my breakfast and did my business, and I'm off on the trail. Hell, I'm kind of not really looking forward to 21 miles, but hopefully I can stay between 2 and 3 miles an hour average and get to camp well before 7. That's all I hope for, is to get there before it starts getting dark. That way I'm cooking dinner with some light and I can scavenge for wood to get a little fire going. Canada Creek Shelter. We'll see you there. 288. So it's been a minute. I figured I'd give you an update. I am at mile 18 and a quarter. And I've been keeping myself occupied by calling out the blazes, and I'm on 288. So I'm not quite halfway there yet, but once I do get halfway there, I think I'm going to take a break, change my socks out for some dry ones. There's some areas where you go through like bog and there's no boardwalk over it, so you have no choice but to step into water. But other than that, I mean, it's been pretty well marked if you're paying attention. 289. So I can see definitely areas where the trail gets overgrown in the spring and summer. I would not do this trail in the spring or summer. It would be wildly overgrown with ferns, and you would just be riddled with ticks, I'm sure. But there are some areas that are like just super dense forest, and then you go through like this nice open pine forest areas. So there is a variety of scenery. I just passed through what looked like a recovering logging area. All the pines were quite short, no more than 8 to 10 foot tall. But I like this kind of open. I could take this for the rest of the hike today. $4.14. Well, this is an interesting change in scenery. It's like very densely packed baby birch trees. And I'm currently at mile 22, just over 22 and a quarter. So I have one more mile before I'm halfway to Canada Creek. This is this is gonna be a tough day. I'm already feeling tired and my feet are sopping wet. So I'm trying to keep an eye open for a good spot to take my pack off, maybe make lunch and change my socks. But I really hate taking my pack off if I don't have to, but I definitely need to change my socks. 4:15. There's some pretty fall color for you. Yeah, actually, you know what? This looks like a good place. Milligan Creek. Well, at least this boardwalk isn't all janky and slippery as all hell. It feels great to have a dry pair of socks on. I'll tell you that. I'm a pretty big fan of boardwalks when they're not trying to kill me. Probably not the best place to filter water, huh? Oh, some froggos down there. You can hear them plooping and plopping. Gotta watch out for these parts that are covered in leaves. They're usually pretty slippery. Well, this one goes on for a little ways, huh? Checking my all trails right now, just to make sure that this is the right way. I cannot afford to tack on any extra miles today. Yeah, we are golden. Oh, okay, yeah, that was like ice. Yeah, anything that's on an angle, you have to be really careful. These boards are like slimy. Yeah, I don't know. I've enjoyed myself so far. There's long stretches of absolutely nothing, and you know, obviously, like today, if you have two options. I mean, it's either you backcountry camp somewhere in the woods, or you do the 21 miles between Pine Grove and Canada Creek. And before getting to Pine Grove, as you see, and I went through, oh, look at these fun little white mushrooms. Went through that funhouse style boardwalk, and someone could seriously get hurt there because of how janky it is. I mean, I slid right off at one point, and you know, then having to ford the river, like, if you were any shorter than me, I mean, it could be seriously dangerous. And like, you know, my pack, I'm pushing like between 34 and 38 pounds, and that is not easy to hold over your chest as you wade through water that has a pretty decent current, and you're stepping all over slimy rocks and then falling into soft tree roots. So, man, yeah, I've been enjoying it, but it's not for the faint of heart, I'll say that. McCready's Field Homestead site. Not much sign of there having been a homestead, except maybe that rusty piece of scrap somebody hung around the post. I should have about 9 miles to go, and my pace is roughly 3 miles an hour. I imagine that's probably going to slow down to 2.5, maybe even 2 later on. So it's probably going to take me 3.5, 4 hours to get to Canada Creek. It is just after 1 right now. No, it's 1:38. So I think at latest I should show up to camp around 6 o'clock, but hopefully sooner than that. So I just crossed the Black River. There's a modern bridge there, and I think I may have underestimated my mileage today. I think it's going to end up being more like 24. So anyways, still thinking I'll arrive before dark, so that's a plus. Alright, I think I'm about a mile or so out from Canada Creek Shelter. My report, my feet are in a lot of pain. Pretty sure I have a blister on the inside of my second toe on my right foot. Hot spots everywhere. And I'm just exhausted, mentally and physically. But, yeah, you know, this would be great if there was like a more official campsite. And it doesn't have to be like super luxurious, like just like, you know, like Pine Grove. You know, like maybe even just 4 sites or something, you know, something small, really small. But like to cut this in half without having to backcountry camp. I was so excited to get here that I forgot to even record. This is Canada Creek Shelter. I was not off on my mileage. It was 21.5 miles away. The creek itself, you don't get to it until you're in the center of this bridge. So it's kind of a pain to filter water from it. So I'm gonna have to climb over the bridge and jump down into the creek to filter water, which I have to do. But yeah, this is my home away from home. I've got some work to do, so I'm gonna keep this short. I'll show you the inside real quick. 2 bunk beds, or a bunk, you know, well, 2 bunk beds in here. That one is a little less spidery, so that's where I'm gonna sleep. And yeah, see, I've got my stuff all spread out. So yeah. I've got some wood to cut up, some water to filter, and some dinner to make, so see you tonight. Well, I ate for about 6 people, and I feel great. And I'm glad I packed extra coffee because I had an extra cup of coffee after dinner. And now I'm just going to relax by the fire and listen to the sounds of nature. I've got an awesome sunset happening over here. And the roaring fire. Yeah, hopefully I get better sleep tonight than I did last night. I'm pretty positive that after I get to Clear Lake State Park, since my stepdad's meeting me up there, I think I'm actually going to bail out. This has been plenty enough for me. The hike today killed me. I mean, it would be a lot more fun with a group or even just one more person, but I literally had to talk to myself the entire day. I was counting trail blazes, and you know, my feet got wet, and then I got blisters between my toes. So it's been awesome, and this definitely helped fill my cup. But yeah, I wouldn't be sad about tomorrow being my last hike out here. Well, I survived the night here. The temperature dropped about 30 degrees. But I slept better last night than I did the night before. It's freezing right now. So today's hike is going to be another 20 miles, and man, it might break me. We'll see what happens. Well, without further ado, I'm going to make some breakfast and hit the trail. Breakfast is almost ready. I've got some mango sticky rice. This was actually left over from our Isle Royal trip in 2018, but it doesn't expire until 2022. And of course my oats and peanut butter. And coffee. Probably can't see that, but getting ready to chow down, and hopefully it's a good, decently warm day. Hopefully it warms up fast. Well, just like that, breakfast is over. It's heated, warmed up a little bit. So hitting the trail. He's so little guy. Well, I made it to Clear Lake State Park. It's actually a really beautiful park, well, campground. I'm a little mush brain right now. I'm not used to being in this kind of pain, to be honest. I mean, I've done like 60 miles in 2 days before. I just underestimated the trail, I guess, and then my feet got wet, and just the bottoms of all of my toes, it's just like excruciating. They look gross. I mean, yeah, not that you want to see that, but yeah, this is a beautiful campsite, and I have a great spot. I don't know if you can see it on camera, but I'm like, that trail right there goes right down to the lake. Weather's good, so I'm gonna get settled in. And we're back at the Adventure Mobile. next one. Heck yeah, thank you. I love caramel corn.